Hey guys. This is Peter, the Warner Brothers Universal and Paramount fan 2002 here once again. And today's review will be the 1996 PBS series, and this one is Arthur. Does anyone remember this show growing up with that? The show was based on the novel books by Marc Brown. The show was originally aired on PBS, PBS Kids, PBS Kids Go, its station channel, WGBH-TV, Channel 2, in Boston, Massachusetts, TV Ontario, CBC, Knowledge Network, Knowledge Kids, BBC Kids, in Canada, BBC One, BBC Two, CBBC, KBBS, Nickelodeon, Nicktoons, in the UK and Ireland, ABC Kids, ABC Me, Nickelodeon, in Australia and New Zealand, and currently streaming on BBC iPlayer in the UK, and ABC iView in Australia. The show is set in the fictional US city of Elwood City and revolves around the lives of Arthur Reed, an anthropomorphic aardvark, his friends and family, and their daily interactions with each other. First thing we have is Arthur himself. The show that he comes from is supposed to talk about his relationship with his friends and family on in daily life, you know, a slice of life, and he could be relatable to many. With that said, his relationships are just real and some examples can prove it. Basically, he's the average kid type that is relatable, just like characters like Charlie Brown or Doug Funny. For DW, she and Arthur do have sibling rivalry in some parts of the show, but Arthur most of the time would ignore DW's antics and would even get along with her. As for friends go, his friend is Buster, who shows to do many good things together like what a good friend would do. Same goes for other friends in his neighborhood, where he would make friends with certain characters like LaDonna, Muffy, the Brain, and even Binky. He also does well with the adults that he is around, such as his parents. Not just his parents, he also does fine with other adults, like when he felt concerned about Mrs. McGrady or Mr. Ratburn. In some episodes that he expresses this, like Arthur Takes a Stand or Lend Me Your Ear. While he does make some mistakes in some episodes that would question the viewer on Arthur's decisions, he still makes up for it, like when he regrets being obsessed over desserts, getting upset over the Brain beating him in checkers, or making fun of Sue Ellen's sweater, and shows his feelings that he really does mean mercy and learns from what he has done. Relatable, right? One of the unique aspects that he has is that he can easily break the fourth wall in the show in order for viewers to understand what is going on, like in some prologues. With that said, it can result to being enjoyable when he talks in front of the viewers without being annoying or dumbed down. Every character in the show have situations that are realistic, and Arthur is no stranger to this, like when would get too much homework, dealing with tragedy, or accepting people as they are. Even kids and adults can learn from him, as well as the cast. For a third grader, he's normally the nice guy and is mostly calm throughout the show, and is also level-headed. He does have some intentional or even unintentional funny moments that never get old, such as, "This is my jingle, and we're going to do IT my way. We all told you. I know you bully me because you feel insecure." Or even his infamous "I told you not to touch IT," which is a meme, of course. Even some of his dream sequences can also be hilarious. He takes good care of Pal since he's supposed to be his pet dog. He may not do some perfect care, but at least he still cares about him. He does some good deeds as well, such as attempting to raise funds for the animal shelter, Shelter from the Storm, Tell the Truth to Mr. Ratburn, Double Dare, being the narrator of a play until Francine comes to the school, albeit running late. Elwood City turns 100, exposing a fake tiger hunter who turns out to steal dogs. Buster the Myth Maker, finding Sue Ellen's diary and keeping it private. Sue Ellen's lost diary, just to name some examples. He's active to go outside and play because he still enjoys getting out for a little while. If you've seen Arthur before, views would point out that he has traveled outdoors before and even meet with his friends outside. He's not really into contests, but he can still have a will to be in one, like his school soccer team or being in a baseball team. He's pretty imaginative. For example, he made up his own superhero in The Secret Origin of Supernova. Speaking about DW herself, in season 16 to 25, she has received some good character development, enough to make her a good character. This can be called reverse Flanderization. She is still admittedly cute, and we see that more now that she's throwing less fits. Also, she's not a Mary Sue. Speaking of which, she no longer has the tendency to be overly dramatic and bossy, becoming nicer. She also no longer has the tendency to throw fits when things don't get her way, showing how more mature she has become. Her love for her brother deep down is more shown now, and she has grown out of annoying, complaining, and getting him into trouble. Her hatred for her full name is rarely shown now, which is good, since most people call her DW anyways, which she prefers to be called. She's grown to not believe everything on TV and is less gullible. Her voice has gotten better and is more peaceful now, except when she cries, but happens sporadically now. She tends to follow orders more often now, especially reasonable orders from Arthur. Even if she still does something bad sometimes, she is now mostly getting punished during those times, instead of rarely. She also has quite a big imagination. Her fondness for unicorns is still kind of adorable. She is shown to be quite intelligent for her age and is now more shown. She does get moments where her growth really shines through, such as when she learns to not blame others from getting the part she wanted in school plays. But since the show started, she was no better. She enjoys annoying and getting Arthur into trouble for no discernible reason. She tends to be overly dramatic and bossy. She hates her name and prefers to be called DW. While there's nothing wrong with wanting to be called something shorter, hating your name is something else. She is more gullible than any girl her age and believes everything she sees on TV. Her voice can sometimes be grating, especially when she cries. She tends to disobey orders, especially reasonable orders from Arthur. There are a few episodes in which she is arguably at her worst, especially when she throws a lot of temper tantrums whenever she doesn't get her way, especially in Season 2, in DW, All Wet, the episode that started her unlikable trend. She keeps on whining about her chapitophobia. In DW's Baby, on Kate's first birthday, she spills Kate's cupcake with her video camera and even stalks her sister while she's breathing, trying to bathe her and even letting her suffer. She even blames her for getting her father's new shoes in the dishwasher. Worst of all, she sells her at a yard sale for 50 cents and changes it to 35 cents. In DW's Snow Mystery, she is obsessed with a snowball when a snowball is just an object. She blames Arthur for taking and melting it, despite him, Buster, and Francine making the tower, and she even destroys Arthur's room, and when they are playing detective she blames them, even Pal and aliens, for taking her snowball. In DW the Picky Eater, she hates healthy foods, such as tomatoes, cucumbers, pickles, mushrooms, eggplants, pineapple, parsnips, cauliflower, liver, and even spinach, and believes it's the most disgusting food in the universe. She flips her plate with spinach, which spills all over the waiter and causes everyone to stare at her, and she believes that everybody's making this into such a big deal. Thankfully, she lost her hatred for spinach at the end of the episode, which makes Popeye proud of her. In Play It Again, DW, she annoys Arthur with her crazy bus CD, and when it goes missing, she blames Arthur for it, and worse, her parents and Francine apparently signed with her. In DW's Very Bad Mood, she throws a huge fit, constantly saying very mean and rude things to her family and friends, yelling at them at the top of her lungs, and making a lot of loud noise at night, preventing them from sleeping, all because she didn't get invited to a birthday party her friend Emily did, and she didn't even know or like the girl whose party it was. In Arthur's Big Hit, she breaks Arthur's airplane model and tries to blame Arthur for it to the point where he punches her. In the Christmas special Arthur's Perfect Christmas, she throws a massive fit over getting a toy called Quackers instead of the toy she wanted, Tina the Talking Tabby, showing that she just wants everything, whether she likes it or not. In For Whom the Bell Tolls, she fakes having laryngitis to make Arthur her servant. In episodes like DW's Very Bad Mood, she accuses Arthur for bugging her, yet she does the same thing to Arthur herself, especially since he didn't do anything wrong. Granted that DW was upset that she didn't get invited to the birthday party, but she should not have this excuse to lash out at everybody like this. In the same episode as shown in BQ number 7, where she is at her absolute worst, she tells Arthur that he's bad after he wrongfully punched her, yet she was doing something bad as well. in which she steals Arthur's model plane because she thought it could fly. So she throws his plane outside of his window, only for it to break, and when Arthur finds out, she blames him for leaving it unattended, much to the point where Arthur had the nerve to punch, for lazy reasons, her. Even worse, she never got punished for it and got away with her actions, hence leaving Arthur to get in trouble for hitting her. She tends to throw temper tantrums when things don't get her way. No matter how poorly she behaves, she rarely gets any punishment. In other words, she often gets rewarded for her misbehavior in the end and gets off scot-free, thus making her a karma Houdini. She refuses to take advice from her imaginary friend, Nadine, who tries to be her conscience. She can also be cruel to her as well. Her behavior is mostly caused by her parents. When she isn't acting bratty, she is admittedly cute and funny. She has quite a big imagination. Her friendship with Binky, especially in the episodes The Chips Are Down and Revenge of the Chip, and arguably one of the best moments for several Arthur fans. Her fondness for unicorns is kind of adorable. There are a handful of episodes where she is likable, such as Arthur's Negram Mothoro Appreciation Day, The Chips Are Down, Revenge of the Chip, Attack of the Turbo Tibbles, Double Tibble Trouble, Mom and Dad Have a Great Big Fight, W's Library Card, The Blizzard, The Rat Who Came to Dinner, W's Time Trouble, Is There a Doctor in the House? Happy Anniversary Operation, DW, In My Africa, Grandpa Dave's Memory Album. Depending on your view, she was a decent character for the first few episodes of Season 1. Until DW, All Wet, which set her unlikable and bratty personality into motion. Despite the flaws, the show wouldn't sometimes be as great as it is without her. She is slightly more tolerable in the books. Speaking about the rest of the characters, I have no idea why I have to talk about it. The series often deals with important issues families face, such as asthma, dyslexia, cancer, diabetes, and autism spectrum disorder. It also encourages reading and relationships with family and friends by explaining that people have different personalities and interests. It was the longest-running children's animated series in the United States, and is the third longest-running animated series in the United States, behind South Park and The Simpsons. Not only that, this show has its own movie, in July in theaters, and August 22, 2006 on Divide from Lionsgate Home Entertainment, Kidtoon Films, theatrically through 20th Century Fox, Arthur Worldwide, WGBH-TV, Channel 2 Boston, Ridgecrest Animation Studios, and Mark Brown Studios. Arthur's Missing Pal from 2006. This show also has its special movie from PBS Kids, WGBH Boston, Cookie Jar Entertainment, and Mark Brown Studios, Arthur's Perfect Christmas in 2000. So, I'm giving this show 7 out of 10. Pretty great show of PBS Kids. And it's better than Barney and Friends and Caillou. And this concludes this review. This is Peter, the Warner Brothers Universal and Paramount fan 2002. Peace out. I'll see you in the next review. Goodbye.
Funding for Arthur is provided by
Juicy Juice. We're behind Arthur 100%. Of course, that's how we do everything. Juicy Juice. 100% juice.
Post Alphabet Cereal. 26 little letters that spell the names, that tell the world who we are, and help us make the friends that make the world a nicer place to be. Post Alphabets is proud to spell your name and bring you Arthur on PBS.
Chuck E. Cheese's. Proud supporter of PBS Kids. Helping children discover the fun of developing their bodies and their minds. PBS Kids, where a kid can be a kid.
and by a ready-to-learn television cooperative agreement from the U.S. Department of Education through the Public Broadcasting Service, and by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.